Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif, an urban planner, and you're more than welcome to join my big journey of exploring the making of smarter and more livable cities. Please don't forget to follow Urbanistica on the different social media platforms, and also let's connect on LinkedIn. Big thanks to Urbanistica podcast partner AFRY. AFRY is an international engineering and design company providing sustainable solutions in the fields of energy, industry, and infrastructure. Are you ready for a new episode? Let's go for it.
I have the pleasure to welcome Professor Carlos Moreno to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome.
Good morning. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Thank you for your kind invitation.
How are you doing?
Fine. In the condition, in particular in Paris with the COVID-19, I think that we need to live in the day-to-day for the best.
Yeah, I understand. So you are our storyteller for this episode, and many people would love to hear more about you. So how would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your passion?
Yeah, thank you. I am a scientist. I was born in Colombia in South America, and I arrived in France when I was 20 for 42 years. I have been living in Paris, my city, and my activity is totally dedicated to the science, innovation, and for a long time, for almost 15 years, my passion in reality is becoming the cities, because in my scientific activity, my original discipline, my first discipline, is the mathematics and computer science. But for 15 years, I am totally oriented for understanding the new urban and territorial mutations, the impact of new technologies, the concept of a smart city, the role of citizens in cities, the human in smart cities, the role of the complexity, the interdependencies in cities, the living cities, and now the new paradigm about proximities. I am a scientific director in the Sorbonne University of the ETI chair, Entrepreneurship, Territory and Innovation, and I am very happy to work with scientists, mayors, president of metropolises, private sector. Yes, I think that when we have the possibility to work with the very different personalities and sectors, we have the possibility to open still more the mindset, and I think that's important today.
Yeah, that's amazing. But tell me, when did your passion started about cities? Was it there a specific moment?
In fact, the cities, I was born in Latin America, in Colombia, and I was born in urban, even if my family was an rural origin. And when in America, when in Latin America, the cities have been becoming the most important place for living. I consider at this moment that this is a very important period for studying why people decided to go in cities for living, when in Latin America we have the possibility to continue to live in the rurality, in small towns, with the nature, with the biodiversity. And in fact, I think that this is the spark for starting my reflection about cities. And 15 years after, when I arrived in Paris, I was totally impressed by the powerful of big cities: Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, Berlin, London, etc. And at this moment, I consider that we need to understand this phenomenon. When the new technologies, with the revolution of the computer science arrived, with the very powerful software for simulation, with the platforms, the digital platforms arrived, I thought that this is a very good moment for developing in my skills the convergence between mathematics, digital technologies, innovation, and the shape of cities. And this is the moment when I decided to embrace this new discipline, the complexity, for understanding the future of the cities.
And very interesting journey. And now it's leading to your next station, the 15-minute city, that the revolution in our urbanism. So tell me about the background. Like, why did you came up with the 15-minute city? What's the reason or the background of it?
The background for arriving to propose this paradigm, in reality, is totally right, because this is the continuity of this journey. When we have decided to study cities, in reality, I decided to dedicate my professional life to cities. This is now 20 years ago, about this discipline. And in reality, I had this very nice, very great opportunity for studying cities under different angles or different topics: technological, digital, innovation, about the new concept for disrupting cities, social, for understanding the heterogeneity in cities. And I think that the most relevant point for me was the climate change. I consider that the climate change in reality is the key element for imagining the future of the cities. And I have observed the emergence of the C40 cities, the global network of the big metropolises for fighting against climate change. The founder of this global network is the former mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg, with the participation of the principals, mayors around the world: London, Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, Mexico, Rio de Janeiro, San Francisco, etc., etc. And I consider that in this moment that this is very important to embrace this battle. How could we support the cities for building an ambitious roadmap in order to preserve the climate change and in order to fight against the secondary effects, primary and secondary effects of the climate change, air pollution, extinction of biodiversity, the decrease of water in cities, the excessive traffic jams, the fine particles in the pollution, etc., etc. And in reality, my point of view was very clear. If we wanted to fight against climate change, we need to live differently. It is not enough to say we need to reach the carbon neutrality at the horizon 2050. We need to say, how could we build a new path? The challenge is to propose a new trajectory. And for this trajectory, year after year, month after month, day after day, we needed to change radically our lifestyle. And in this moment, when I decided to study the different ways for fighting climate change, I was interested in understand the relationship between the urban space and the useful time. And in this moment, for me, it was very clear that if we wanted to fight against climate change, if we needed to reduce radically the CO2 emissions, if we wish to live differently, we needed to propose a new way for creating a new relationships between the urban space and the time for our activities. And of course, the activities of the former activists as Jane Jacobs, the researchers in particular in the Nordic countries, the time geography, the proposals of the researchers, the French researchers about chrono-urbanism, François Hacher, the contributions about the rhythm in the life, in the city, in the day, in the night, Luc Gudensky, Vincent Kaufmann in Switzerland and others have been constituting this new movement. And my contribution in reality is how could we propose a new vision, a new modern vision for imagining a new trajectory. And of course, the 50-minute city was for me during the COP21 in Paris, the moment for proposing this idea. But 5 years ago, during the COP21, I think that the public opinion, the urbanism and the urbanists in this period don't want to hear this idea because many people consider that to live in the proximities it wasn't possible because the place taken by the work in our cities, it's not compatible with the proximity. Today, this is different with the COVID-19 crisis, but 5 years ago, when for the first time I evoked this concept. I think that it is not necessarily the good moment for the large community for embracing this idea. Today is the case.
Yes. And so your 15-minute city is the answer to all the challenges that our cities are facing now. If I live in a 15-minute city, how does it look like? Can you describe it for us?
The 15-minute city is today this new paradigm in order to live differently, to reduce naturally the CO2 emissions, because we offer the possibility to provide the access of the urban social functions within a short perimeter. In reality, my contribution is to define the key essential urban social functions. I consider that we have 6 urban essential functions: to live, to work, to supply, to care, to educate, and to enjoy. In my point of view, my research team, we consider that if we have the possibility to offer the 6 urban social functions, we could maximize the access by low carbon mobility, by foot or by bike. Within a perimeter, 50 minutes in the compact zone, in the high density, or 30 minutes in the middle or low density. In this case, we could offer a very happy urban life or in very happy territorial life. The idea is not to reduce each one of us to live in isolated location. The idea with the 50-minute city is to maximize in a short perimeter the access to the essential urban social functions for offering a vibrant and multi-service city in this concept of polycentric city. If for each one of us we have the possibility to live in a vibrant 50-minute city, the whole city will be a livable and multi-service city. The 50-minute city is a new proposal for shifting our mindset to understand that we need to break with the modern urbanism based on a segmented city, based on a specialized city, the historical center, the administrative center, the corporate district, the middle class district, the popular worker class, etc. We need to transform the city in order to go towards a social mixity in a functional mixity. We need to use more and better the totality of the resources, material, infrastructures, or immaterials, new technologies, in order for creating this mixity by the urban social functions, and of course by another way for using public space, building green areas, and to have a healthy city.
When it's like become very popular, the 15-minute city concept, there was some feedback about this, that people will stay within their 15-minute bubble. They will not meet other people, so which means we might be segregated. And the other one, it means if we have gonna have this diverse services, this means cause of many resources, like if I have this function here, their function, you know. So what is your comment about this? Is it true, or what do you think?
Yeah. Now, in reality, if we wanted to go from the current segmented city, if we have decided to embrace this idea of the 50-minute city, we needed to preserve 4 pillars in order to avoid to create a new segregation, or in order to avoid to create a new gentrification. The 4 pillars are ecology, because we need in the totality of city to develop a low carbon city roadmap to live differently, to reduce our emissions, to avoid the one driver by car, to avoid diesel cars, to develop bike lanes, to develop the ecology is the 4th pillar. The 2nd pillar, proximity, for exploring the multipurpose functions. In reality, we have in each one of our cities thousands of the locations, thousands of square meters. We need today to break with the monofunctionalism, because we have a lot of infrastructures, a lot of buildings by used by an only activity. The multipurpose function, this is the possibility for use more in better intensive way the infrastructure that exists. But proximity is as well to develop the one-point shop, to localize the commercial activities in the proximity, to install cultural centers, to propose medical services, and to propose with the new technologies, the new locations for educating, etc. Proximity is one of the key. The 3rd point is the solidarity. Solidarity, this is the way for reconquering the public space and for offering in the public space a new social mixity for gender equity, for social link, for take care of elderly people, for offering to kids the possibility to use the public spaces for playing, etc., to ensure the quality of the urban space for living, not for cars, for living. The 4th point is the citizen empowerment. We need to offer the possibility for citizen dwellers to be involved in the local activities in order to propose the projects, the local projects, concrete, with the tactical urbanism, with the placemaking, for example, for transforming each one of our streets, etc. Ecology, proximity, solidarity, empowerment. For that, if we wanted to avoid the segregation or gentrification, the local governance should propose the new tools, administrative and financial tools. The key element for the local governance is the urban common good. It is not possible to understand the 15th city concept without understand the importance of the urban common good. The common good is the concept developed by the Nobel Prize Elinor Ostrom. She wrote the book, The Common Governance, and the urban common good is today for the 50-minute city to offer the new financial tools, the administrative tools for avoiding gentrification. Why? Participatory budget. The participatory budget is very important if we wanted to involve citizens, dwellers, inhabitants for proposing projects. In the city of Paris, the participatory budget is 800 million euros only for developing concrete projects. The second point of the common good, this is to protect the locations in order to rent with a price below the speculative real estate market. In the city of Paris, for example, we have a subsidiary of the city of Paris totally dedicated for buying square meters location in order to rent for installing the local shops, library, bookstore, recycling point, one-point shop, and other in all districts. This is very important because in this case we could install the local shops for the commerce without the speculative prices, and we have the possibility for proposing the common good in the local commerce. This is the same situation for the affordable housing. We need to propose affordable housing in all districts. It is not possible to concentrate the affordable housing in several districts, because this is one of the reasons for the segregation. The common good, this is the possibility for the local governance to be the guarantee for avoiding gentrification. And the last point, we need to create in a roadmap for balancing again the city, to transform the corporate towers only for work in the multi-services places. And we need to transform in reality the city, but the 50-minute city is not a magic wonder for transforming cities in a few months. The 50-minute city is a real journey for developing a new convergence between a local governance based on a long-term vision with the different actors of the urban ecosystem, private sector, citizens, and the local associations for creating a new movement.
Yeah, and before you go to the next meeting, I know your time is very limited. So the last question here, how can cities start with implementing the 50-minute city? What to start with?
Yeah, today we have been living a very interesting period because in several cities this movement has started. This is the case in Paris, this is the case in Italy and several cities, the city of Milan. This is very, very advanced in this way. In my opinion, the first point is to build a real roadmap for transforming the city based on these 4 points: ecology, proximity, solidarity, and city empowerment. That means that we need to propose for ecology to propose a new roadmap based on a new active mobility, a new low carbon active mobility, to develop bike lanes, to develop walkable spaces, to reconquer public spaces, to transform a public space in the places for different activities. I think that the roadmap in the ecology is the essential. The second point, we need to propose new installation of the local commerce in the proximity. Without the local commerce, it is not possible to implement the 50-minute city. The third point, we need to propose this polycentric way to transform different locations in city for proposing multiple services. For example, in the city of Paris, we have decided to open the schools during the weekend for developing new activities. We have decided to close the streets that surrounded the school for building the streets for kids. In this case, the totality of the schools are open during the weekend, and the streets have been becoming the new places for living. We need to propose the participatory budget if we wanted to foster citizen awareness for creating this way. We needed to propose the concept of the organic density. We needed to install the new affordable housing, not only for living, but to combine the social activity living with other activities, cultural activities. We needed to decentralize the cultural activities. We needed to transform a public space in the public space for cultural activities, theater, music, dance, etc. We needed to reconquer the public spaces in this way. And the medical activities, we need to decentralize. This is today with the COVID-19 crisis an evidence, because when you observe the needs for people to have a vaccine, etc. And if I wanted to put it in a nutshell, the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, said the roadmap for the 50-minute city is to provoke a new big bang of the proximity. The keyword, decentralization. The most powerful actions to distribute it in the different points of the city, all kinds of the public services, and to work with the private sector for decentralizing the jobs, to develop the corporate working. In the city of Milan, the name is the near working. The near working, this is the essential key for transforming the city in the mid-term. Because today, one of the barriers for developing the 50-minute city was the round trip during 1 hour for people to go from at home to the office. We need today to develop the new locations for working close at home, not not at home, because the pyjama working is not compliant with the 50-minute city. The pyjama working, it's a danger for the health, physical and psychological of people. We need to develop the decentralized work, and in this way, it's very important to work with the private sector in order to decentralize this activity. We need to build, before to launch the 15-minute city, we need to build a roadmap for building an ambitious program during 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and more.
Yes. Well, thank you so much again, and hopefully talk to you again with more interesting topics. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this episode. You learned something new and also got inspired by the guest. Don't forget to share the episode on your social media and recommend it to people you think they are really interested in this topic. Thank you so much again for giving your valuable time to Urbanistica podcast. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.